Why are Arsenal out, do you think? What are the main reasons?
Just not clinical enough, to be honest, Ted. Arsenal created a lot of chances, especially early on the first 7 minutes. Declan Rice had a header that went inches. You know, he out-jumped Marquinhos. Great header, but just went wide of the post. Then Martinelli had a chance. Donnarumma made a good save. Saka had a chance right at the end. And I think it's a case of the same old story for Arsenal, really. Just not being clinical enough in the final third. And ultimately, when you play at the highest level, that will cost you, and it has tonight.
Luis Enrique's been lauded around the world. What could Arteta have done better tonight, do you think?
I don't think Arsenal could have done anything better than what they've done. They gave everything. They're out on their feet. They kept trying to create. They was aggressive. The work rate was really good. The game plan was good. But again, you just fall short because Arsenal wasn't clinical enough. And that's what it's come down to. PSG, they rode the storm. They were organised. They were difficult to break down, but then they broke really fast. And when they did get their chances, they were clinical. Hakimi scored a fantastic goal. Fabio Ruiz, it was a great shot from the edge of the box. It did take a big deflection though, but they was more clinical overall.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang left Arsenal in February 2022, more than 3 years ago. Why have they not replaced him with an adequate goal scorer?
I mean, that's a question you're going to have to ask Mikel Arteta, but I mean, Mikel Arteta was at Man City with Guardiola. Guardiola did play a few seasons without a number 9, a natural number 9. There was a lot of players that played in that position. Foden played there, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. Those kind of players played there. And I feel like with Mikel Arteta, maybe he's tried to do that and build the squad in areas he thought was weaker. But now, I feel like Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are at the point where they just need to say, okay, we're going to buy number 9. We really mean business, whoever it may be. The most important signing this summer is a number 9.
Who would you want? Seshko's been linked, RB Leipzig player, Gyökeres from Sporting.
I mean, ideally, in my opinion right now, the best overall striker in the world is Isak. And I say that because of his youth. He's got really good pace. He holds up the ball, he can beat players, he's very clinical, his movement's very good. Someone like him would be fantastic. But there are going to be a lot of teams that want him. You know, there's been talks that Real Madrid might want him, and Liverpool are looking for a number 9. Darwin Núñez might be leaving. So it's going to be a big summer of business for Arsenal. He would be the best one, in my opinion. But there are other strikers out there that could come and do a job. Delap, he could maybe be a good option. I believe he's between 30 and 40 million pounds. Very good young player. But ultimately, whoever comes in, they need to hit the ground running and be an absolute goal-scoring machine for Arsenal, because that's where Arsenal fall short.
5 seasons without a trophy now since the FA Cup in 2020 for Mikel Arteta. How sure are you that he is the manager to lead Arsenal?
I hate this question, to be honest, because I don't want to say that Arteta should get the sack. I wouldn't wish that upon nobody, but I feel like things will have to change if this continues. You can't hide away from the fact that Mikel Arteta has spent the better part of £700 million, which is an awful lot of money, and to then say you don't have a recognisable number 9.
Or any goal scorers really in the team, apart from Saka, are there?
And that's the problem. Like, I feel like Arsenal's a bit lopsided. Everyone knows the ball goes out to Saka, even tonight's game. Kvaratskhelia and Mendes were doubling up really well on Saka. Yes, he did score, but in them wide areas, it was difficult for him to get on the ball. And even though Martinelli does do well and he does his part, he works really hard, he makes some good runs in behind, when, especially against teams that play with the high line, there just seems to be a lopsided. And I feel like Arsenal need to make some signings to make the squad stronger, but to not have to rely on Saka so much in these big games.
How confident are you that Arsenal will win a trophy next season?
You're really putting me on the spot.
No, but this is what the Arsenal fans, because they're looking at looking at Manchester United, aren't they? Saying that's a chaotic team that's won the League Cup, FA Cup, potentially the Europa League in 3 seasons, whereas Arsenal all the plaudits, but nothing.
Very, very true. I think next year is going to be a much more competitive Premier League, I believe. Man City are going to go and sign players, Liverpool are going to go and sign, Chelsea are going to build again, Newcastle have the money to go and spend on players. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. It's going to be an interesting summer. But I believe Arsenal, they're not far away, let's put it that way. I think maybe 2-3 players away from really putting on a strong title challenge and going to win the domestic cups and really competing in the Champions League.